Fetterman took down the American flag in his office in the Capitol to put up the marijuana flag and the gay pride flag. Now, that might work at Berkeley. It would work at Yale. But if any of you who know Pennsylvania very well know that the idea that the next time a soldier goes in to rescue somebody, instead of showing them the American flag patch, they're going to show them the marijuana patch, tells you about as much about wokeness as you need to know. And I think that Fetterman has to carry the burden, first of all, of being Fetterman, who's kind of nuts. Second, he has to, which in the Democratic Party means he's sort of a centrist. For the foreseeable future, the marijuana flag will not fly at the U.S. Capitol. I know it's bold, but...
Newt Gingrich with scintillating speeches there, talking about John Fetterman out in Pennsylvania and flags. I don't know. I just feel like this format of his speech process is from 1993. I don't know. Just saying. Anyway, he's upset because John Fetterman unfurled marijuana and gay rights flags, also trans rights flags as well, and they're very upset about it. How dare he? And he also claimed that he took the US flag down in favor of the LGBTQ flags and that marijuana flag that we see there draped in front of him. So one part about this flag issue that we're talking about with Newt Gingrich is that the Republicans, which as we know, they pride themselves on free speech, they have a law in place barring the hanging of these flags because that's America. So this Republican-dominated state legislature in November included a provision in its budget bill that called for the banning the display of non-approved flags at the state capitol, including the LGBTQ and transgender rights and pro-marijuana flags that Fetterman hangs from his office balcony. Their state employees under the direction of Republicans have always taken down his flags over and over and over again. So in defiance, Fetterman does things like this. Here's a tweet from him. He says, since they passed the law that I can't fly my old rainbow and trans flag and weed flags from my office balcony, I figured new bigger ones would be legal. So he got bigger ones because he don't care. Also, he's expressed some outrage over these Republicans taking these flags down as well. He goes, but what's even more disappointing and angering is that the Republicans in Pennsylvania can quickly come up with legislation to take down the flags, but not to ensure that Pennsylvania law explicitly protects LGBTQIA+ community from discrimination. This is BS, is what he added. And lastly, David, let's look at this other picture because I figured Newt Gingrich also has issues with Donald Trump and his supporters showing up without American flags there, Trump flags with a bastardized version of the American flag on it. Oh, look at that, it's a traitor flag. The Confederate flag as well, that's an absolute opposition to the United States of America. They were in opposition to the United States of America, but we hate trans and gay rights flags or the rainbow flag and a weed flag. What does that do to people?
Yeah, Newt Gingrich is more concerned about the sanctity of flags, I suppose, and certainly the sanctity of marriage. I mean, he's been divorced, 2 times? He divorced one of his wives while she was in the hospital battling cancer. Newt Gingrich, go back to the 90s, retire, you're done.
John Fetterman has been absolutely destroying Dr. Oz when it comes to the war of the memes, just shredding him in social media, making him look like a laughing stock. Now he's getting an assist by the fact that Dr. Oz loves to do that himself. He loves to be humiliated. It's a kink, don't shame it. But anyway, in response to this, Dr. Oz has decided, you know what? I can meme too. Take a load at this, Fetterman. And so he tweeted out, Bernie Sanders and John Fetterman, even they can't tell themselves apart. Hey, Bernie Sanders would end the filibuster, and so would John Fetterman. Burned. Ooh, call the burn the trauma ward for that.
You got him.
First of all, yeah, exactly. You posted it on Twitter, where Bernie Sanders kind of popular generally. Second of all, you know what's not popular right now? I would argue the filibuster. Like I think that people want politicians who are like this is doing. Like work for Fetterman. I think people should know that he would be vote to get rid of the filibuster. So that's what you got. But that's not all he has. I mean, look, and by the way, Nina Turner ratioed him by just asking, okay. I love that, Nina Turner.
So good.
Oh my God, this guy loves being humiliated. So then he tweeted out this. I guess like the Spider-Man thing's not good enough. And he wants to make sure that you know that Fetterman and Bernie Sanders are best friends. But like, what point are you even making here? I don't know, but he got ratioed again, this time by John Fetterman, who responded with this, graphic design is my passion. because that's just terrible. I mean, Jessica, you're one of the youths. You speak meme. Why can't Oz get it together in this area?
It's a great question. I think fundamentally the right cannot meme. I don't know if he's running that account. I want to know who is running that account. Is it an intern? Is it Dr. Oz on his phone just like asking family members like, can you help me make a meme? It's like the Wizard of Oz, and behind the curtain is just like a dude who can't meme. I don't know who's behind the curtain of the Dr. Oz Twitter account, but it's someone who cannot meme.
Yeah, if the analogy is about memes, then behind the curtain is the dog with the goggles trying to do science, but he's ill-equipped for this task. Anyway, by the way, Jason Selvig, who's been on the network before, he posted this. I got my picture taken with a tourist who is visiting Pennsylvania. I love the New Jersey stuff for him. He can't run away from it. Here's the thing though, this is all fun and games with the memes, but the state of the race for Dr. Oz not going so well. His Q2 fundraising numbers are in, and let's see, Fetterman ended up having $5.5 million in his campaign account. He raised $11 million in that one quarter. Over the same period of time, to that $11 million from Fetterman, Oz raised $1.7 million. Now, he lent his campaign $3.2 million. He's overall lent it more than $14 million. He is having to drain his own bank account just to try to reach parity with Fetterman, who's raising money from regular people. It turns out that people in Pennsylvania will donate to politicians who actually live there. But anyway, this is not a thing of just Fetterman and Oz. It's apparently actually being replicated around the country when you look at small dollar donors. In the 10 most competitive Senate races, the Democrats are outraising the Republicans by more than $75 million. Only one in those top 10 is beating his Democratic competition. That is Ron Johnson, but at least in that case, it's narrow. When you look at some of these others, it ain't narrow at all. Mark Kelly has raised $23 million. His 3 potential GOP challengers together have brought in $2 million. And then when you look at Georgia, Herschel Walker has raised $8 million. That's just something that merits thinking about for a long time. But Raphael Warnock has raised $14 million. Marco Rubio has raised 12.7, but his Democratic challenger Val Demings has nearly doubled that in small dollar donations. And so, there's a lot of things that the Democrats are doing wrong, but in terms of being able to fundraise or at least getting support from people, Jessica, so far they're doing a pretty good job there.
Yeah, I mean, they have so much money, they can't hire an intern who's a Gen Zer who can just make some memes, man. They're not using their money very well, I don't know. But yeah, it's concerning. I do think that what wins races is advertisements, unfortunately, and that's what a lot of the money goes to in big dollar campaigns, mailers, things like that. But I do know that John Fetterman is getting a decent amount of phone bankers from people who see these memes on the internet. I've seen people who said, I went to a John Fetterman phone bank after seeing these memes. And so hopefully that bolsters their grassroots effort, because we have to believe that organized people can beat organized money. I would like to believe that, and let's hope that's the case.